I always grew up on X Games, action sports. The mountains were an hour and a half away, and I'm like, hey, why don't I go do some flips on the skis? So that's kind of how it turned out. I'm 26 years old now and been doing this for 10 years. I'm Bobby Brown, and I'm a professional free skier. Slopestyle is just an array of jumps and rails all linked together. Usually there's 6 to 8 features in a run, and the whole point is to go down and link it all together and do your technical tricks mixed with style and lace a run. For me, I go into a contest but kind of have a certain run that I know I can do, and I just try and work it around the features and mix it together and make it all come together. The level of creativity is kind of hard to push in a contest sometimes, but you really gotta just think outside the box, because you can get stuck in the same rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then a year later you're like, whoa, I just did the same run every single time. But you're gonna be more consistent with that. But I think it's kind of fun to throw in a wild card and just be like, hey, I'm gonna go for it, and if I land it, I land it. If I don't, then we got the next one. So it's definitely a balance to kind of mix the consistency with the creativity. Sometimes you start a slopestyle run and something happens, you land switch when you're supposed to land forward, and then all of a sudden, like at the blink of an eye, you have to change your whole entire run. That just makes it fun. You get to the bottom and you're like, I don't even know what I did, but I made it to the bottom. So that's like half the fun of it. It's definitely pretty crazy when you're in the moment, you're on the course, you can really tune into these things and be really specific and detailed about how everything feels under your feet. The mental aspect's it, that comes down to training, that comes down to contests. You're not gonna get anywhere, you're not gonna learn any tricks without, a deep mental capacity for learning things and staying calm. You can learn every single trick in the whole entire world, but it takes your mind to decipher if you're gonna land it or not. Technology's been crazy, it's just opened up so many doors for action sports. Just the ability to take the camera off the jump and get a different angle at things, So I've been traveling around with my brother, and this year he's teaming up with me and gets to hit the road, and a bonus is that he's like the best follow camera in the whole entire world and hits all the jumps with me and gets incredible shots. So it's a pretty amazing opportunity that we have this year.
We do get along pretty well. He's a good older brother, he's my best friend, and sometimes we have a little beef, but at the end of the day, it's always good and we're always stoked. The first couple of runs, I'm like trying to make sure I get the speed for the jump and make sure I'm safe. And then throughout the day, I kind of get more comfortable and I know where Bobby is in the air, so I can just like point the camera towards him and we'll both end up good and clean. So I kind of use like my peripheral vision and try and look at him out of the corner of my eye. Usually I can see what he's doing and see where he's traveling, and if I'm able to do that, it's pretty easy to get it down.
We had the discussion before we started traveling together. We're like, hey dude, let's just try and not blow up on each other. If we do, just take some time and come back and just resolve it as quick as possible. You've grown up together. You've been living on this world together for 23 years. So to be in the air off a 100-foot jump with him, that's kind of the best person possible that should be there with me. We're as close as you can possibly get. I mean, we're probably 4 inches apart, but I can seriously sense him in the air, and we've come close before. And actually we were skiing this week and went into the jump, and I just passed him on the in run. I'm like, oh God, dude, he's definitely gonna knuckle. And he goes off the jump, and all I hear is just screaming in the background. I look up and there's just full-on explosion. The camera got ripped out of his hands as he's holding his knee, and it was just madness. So he's actually in the room right now with me. So he's walking, he's standing, he's currently, all together. But yeah, hopefully he can bust it out the rest of the season and we can have a good one. The X Games started my career and continue to be my favorite event. It's where the roots of free skiing are. My highlight of my X Games experience was in 2009, my first X Games. I was 17 years old. And Tanner Hall was skiing the slope course, and he wasn't really feeling the course because he hadn't been skiing slopestyle very much. And he's like, Bobby, I've seen you in practice. This is your spot.
This guy, Bobby Brown, at 17 years of age, steps up to the plate.
And so I was an alternate then, and that was the moment when I got into the X Games slopestyle for the first time, and that was honestly the most amazing moment ever.
Bobby Brown, one more time. Will he do the double? There it is. The kangaroo flip. Bobby Brown stomps it.
The last couple years, I was kind of in this limbo area where I'm like, do I want to keep skiing park? Do I want to go try other stuff? But then I kind of clicked and I'm like, man, I want to get back in the rhythm. And then I just started skiing and skiing and skiing more. And now I'm finally back to the point when I'm like not overthinking a trick and being scared of a trick. That's kind of what I've tried to channel, just diving in and getting back to the roots. When you were 17 and you would just go out and literally not care, and that's when you ski the best. So that's my key to unlocking the potential.